Check this out. I was scrolling my feed this morning. This video pops up. I'm curious what you think. It's a wife and her husband. So he mistakenly lets the balloon go at their gender reveal party.
She's pissed. What?
Look, she keeps going. In front of all these people, man.
She's like, he's so dumb. He's so dumb. In front of all their friends and family.
The worst part is she says, this is what I mean. And that like implies that she's been talking trash about her husband to these people. Who knows for how long? For years. And it gets worse. Ready? Keep watching.
It was a joke.
It was a prank. He was trying to surprise her, man. It was a prank. And this is the worst part. Look at him begging for her to come back over.
Oh, gosh.
That's the worst part, man. He's like simping, begging her to kiss her after she disrespected him.
In front of everybody.
I think this is every man's worst nightmare, that they're going to get into a marriage and that this is what their life's going to be in 10, 20 years from now. This disrespectful wife who treats him like a piece of shit. So what we're going to do in this video is take a look at 4 things that a man must do with his woman from the beginning stages of dating to avoid that outcome and instead achieve the type of relationship that I think every man wants. We want a woman who kind of looks up to us, follows our lead, takes a more submissive role, not in like a degenerative, like,
sit down, bitch, shut up
type of way, but a loving, masculine, feminine relationship. And if you don't do these things, man, that video we just saw, that could be your future. Number 1, if she's not wifey material already, don't expect her to change. So there's another trend of videos going around recently where girls are showing their hands like this, like showing that there's no ring, and they're insinuating that like, if I don't have a ring on my hand, well, men can't tell me what to do because I'm single. And it implies that, like, once they have a ring, then at that point, they're going to be submissive or be more, like, tamed.
Yeah, no, I've seen this with girls doing it at the nightclub, too. And they're like, you know, they might not even
like, I can shake my ass at the club now because there's no ring.
And they might not even be single. Like, that's the thing. They could be in relationships and thinking this. Like, oh, like, I can be in this relationship and still act like a degenerate until he puts a ring on it.
Yeah, and it reminds me because there's a guy in our dating coaching program. I was on the call yesterday and he was like, man, I want to date the type of girl, like the badass type of girl that's got tattoos. I think they're so like sexy and aggressive, but the problem is whenever I go for these type of girls, they flake on me, or they don't show up on the date, or they don't really respect me.
Yeah, I mean, girls with tattoos, I feel like it's just like a walking red flag. They're wearing like all their emotional baggage on their sleeves.
What about guys?
I feel like it can play a role in guys, but I feel like more times guys they're just doing it because it looks cool, not because they're emotionally damaged.
I think it can go both ways for both genders, but I do think like the most healthy the most healthy reason to get a tattoo is just because you think it looks cool. Because if it's otherwise, it probably is like trying to like cover up some scars you got. The point here though is if you meet a girl and she has certain red flags that you don't like she goes out drinking every single weekend with her friends, and you expect that like, oh, once she starts dating me, she's gonna cut that shit out.
Nope.
People don't change like that. Guys either. I think people can change maybe like 10 to 20% with the right guidance, over some months or years, but she's not gonna change her whole identity just because of you, bro.
No, absolutely not.
Number 2, preset boundaries at the very beginning of the relationship. This is something almost no guys do. They wait until something's a problem, then they try and set the boundary. If you do this right, it can be a game changer. Not only, have I done this, but I've seen it with guys in our program. It just changes the whole dynamic of the relationship. So first of all, as a man, I would say you should generally wait for the woman to be the one who asks the question, hey, what are we? Are we exclusive yet? Let the woman be the one who tells you when she's ready for the relationship. Mm-hmm. It shows that she's actually bought in, and you're avoiding the risk of like trying to lock down a girl who doesn't want that at the time.
Well, girls are also overthinkers, right? So they need the time to process. A guy is more black and white. They're like, I like her. Yep, I want to be in a relationship with her. Girls need that time to think and figure it out. And if you're the one bringing it up, then she's going to feel pressured either to say yes, or she could just be like, that's a turn off, I'm out.
But when she's the one who makes that conscious decision, she's really bought into the relationship
100%.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Once you guys have become boyfriend, girlfriend, Facebook official. I don't think that's a thing anymore. Back in the day, that was the defining factor. You have this rare opportunity where you can tell her, hey, now that we're in a committed relationship, can I share some things with you that are very important to me? in a committed relationship.
I love this. It gives room to like open and have like open communication and be able to share what is important to both people.
And she's going to take this as like, wow, he really cares about this. He really wants this to succeed.
And you're like leading, like you're already setting that boundary that like, hey, I'm the leader and I got us. We're going to be in a good relationship.
And now you get to list your boundaries from this place of strength. And I wouldn't share a laundry list of every single boundary you have. You know, you can't go on vacations with your friends. You can't talk to other guys.
You can't leave the house. You're going to be chained up.
You can't go to the bars and clubs without me, even if these are all things you believe in, because you should have a good idea by now, like which are the boundaries that she may step over. Because if you know, like, she's not the type of girl who goes out to the bars and clubs, like, why mention that? Now it's just really going to feel like you're taking away all her freedoms. Focus on the ones that you think, you sense, you know, could become an issue.
Like maybe she's still kind of friends with her ex and you think that there might be communication there. That's a good one to bring up.
Yeah, you could say, you know, when it comes to our exes, I prefer there's no communication there whatsoever. In fact, for me, it's really important that you wouldn't ever, you know, hang out with any other guy friends. That's not something that would be okay with me in a relationship.
Okay, makes sense. And also this is a great opportunity for a girl to say how she feels. So like, yeah, I feel the same way. I wouldn't want you to hang out with girls, you know, without me.
Now the frame is rock solid, man, and it avoids a lot of potential conflicts down the line. And also, if she was to step out of line and, you know, break one of these boundaries, you're not playing like catch up, like mustard. you're not like, fuck you, I don't want you to do that. She already is going to have known that she stepped out of line. At that point, the relationship's probably over. But if there is a conversation, she's going to know she's in the wrong. Number 3, craft the relationship as you level up. So for example, with us, when we met, that was 8 years ago, and I was at a very different level financially. For example, I think I might have made $25,000 in my tax return the year we met. That's after I had quit my software job, before I'd grinded up my own businesses. So you had to work a full-time job, because otherwise we would have been like real strapped for money.
Yeah, it was very 50-50 back then. Like if I, you know, cooked, you would do the dishes and things like that.
Yeah, I would say that I was still definitely in the masculine role.
Oh, for sure.
In terms of like making the decisions and things. But as I leveled up and as these businesses grew and as we started making more money, to the point it's like, okay, it doesn't make any sense for you to work. Like, why are you going to stress yourself out working? Help me out. But then I became quite busy to the point it would make no sense for me to lay my hand on like the dishwasher.
Well, yeah, and it was easier for me to fall into a more feminine role when I didn't have all those responsibilities versus like before, where I was working full time. That was a lot harder.
The point is, I know that most of you guys are working hard to level up, and maybe where you're at right now, it is beneficial to have the financial support of your partner. But as you level up your finances, as long as you take an active role, you can craft the relationship to be what you want it. You know, one day I had to tell Julia, hey, you can come help me. You don't need to work that job anymore. And she did. One day I had to tell her, hey, I'm not going to do the dishes anymore. That this doesn't make any more sense.
Well, I realized my value in the relationship while he was working his ass off was to take care of the home. That's what I brought to the relationship.
And of course, some girls might not be open to that. They might be really career driven. That's their choice. But if that's not what you want, it also might not be the right fit. Number 4, you have to actually be him. So let's be real. Do you think most guys are setting hard boundaries with their girls?
Absolutely not.
So if you walk into a relationship and the guy starts to tell you, yeah, you know that trip you have planned to Miami with your friends? I'm not okay with that. No, you can't be friends with your ex. You can't even talk to him. That's not cool with me. How's she gonna react?
She's gonna be like, who the fuck are you?
The last few guys she dated wouldn't set those boundaries, and she walks into your relationship and you're trying to set those boundaries. Why is she going to just sacrifice these freedoms she's used to for you? In order for her to make these exceptions, bro, you have to be exceptional, like by definition.
You want to be a guy that she doesn't want to walk away from, a guy that she doesn't want to lose.
So right now, what I want you to do is to rate yourself in the following 3 areas. First of all, your body. Second of all, your career. And third of all, your social confidence. What is your rating out of 10 in those different areas? And when you're doing this, don't be comparing yourself to some average bum. You need to compare yourself to the guys who are actively dating, because that's who the girl is going to compare you to. She's not going to compare you to some loser living in his mom's basement. She's going to compare you to the last 5 guys who she was talking to. If you're not scoring high marks in each of these 3 areas, I mean, put yourself in the girl's shoes, bro. She would have to be delusional to sacrifice her freedoms for you. Yeah, maybe the connection is strong and she's feeling a bit lonely, so she'd like to have a boyfriend, so she entertains the idea of going out with you. but she's not going to be submissive. Like, humans are intelligent creatures, and subconsciously she's making these comparisons to the other guys that she would be able to attract.
It's never going to be a healthy relationship either, because you're going to constantly have this conflict and she's not going to fully respect you, and it's just going to be toxic as shit.
Toxicity. That all being said, if you're looking to get your dating life handled right now, I just want to let you know that I am here to help with my premium coaching program. So if you click the first link in the description, you can schedule a complimentary strategy session. Then someone from our team, they'll reach out, they'll talk to you, they'll go over exactly how we'd be able to help your specific situation and what that would look like. Click that link and I'll talk to you in the next video.
So before the program, my dating life lacked consistency, and it had been something that I'd put to one side for too long. I'd focused on other parts of my life and I was lacking confidence as well. And now after the program, I'm finding that I am able to generate those dates on a more regular basis with the quality of women that I want to be aiming for. So now I'm getting the chance 2 or 3 times a week to go on dates. The surprise for me was how quickly things can change. If you're on the fence, I was considering it for a number of weeks and decided to take the plunge, and I fully recommend it to anyone who's in a similar position.